We are now going to talk to Jess Rogers. She's the founder and CEO of Tutorville. That means we're all going to get a little bit smarter. The tutor is with us right now, right, Jenna?
Right. Let's hope we can all get a little smarter, Bill. I
my
could
goal.
use it, especially after a holiday weekend. Jess, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we've known each other a very, very long time, but tell me a little bit about Tutorville and how it got started.
So I have wanted to be a teacher since I was 8 years old, and I went to Houston Baptist University. I have my degree from there. And then I went on to teach middle school math at St. Francis Episcopal Day School. And then as my side hustle, I was a math tutor and tutored for 7 years until my very good friend, you, encouraged me to start my own company. And so that's what I did. We started in 2009 and then slowly grew and then started some different programs. So we see kids pre-K to college. And then we have a one-on-one Tutorville prep program, which is like our homeschool program. It's a full service sort of non-traditional school that we can see kids for a long period of time, or sometimes it's just a soft place for kids to land if they need a transitionary spot. And then we help kids prepare for college, applications, private school entrance, anything really you need. We're sort of like a one-stop shop.
So talk to me a little bit about Tutorville. I have 15-year-old twin boys. They've been clients since before kindergarten, I think.
Right.
So your needs sort of evolve over the years as a kid and as parents. Talk to me about how Tutorville can meet those needs. Different tutors, your bench is really deep, right? So kind of talk me through that.
Right. So we call it our bench strength, and we have a great set of tutors that go through our training program, which is taught by me or someone on my staff. And so we sort of just evolve with the child, and we consider our tutors sort of like the bonus parent in your family. So that like allows you to be mom or dad. And then if for some reason the child needs a change in tutor or a new program or a different sort of avenue, then we can help assist with that.
And is it just about academics? I know that sounds silly to ask a tutoring company CEO, but you guys are about more than that.
Right. So I feel like Tutorville, one of the things that sets us apart from other sort of cookie cutter tutoring companies is that we really sort of try to focus on the holistic child. And really that comes from matching you with the perfect tutor based on the personality of your child and what their interests are, and so that they look forward to tutoring and they don't dread it. And so I feel like that is one of the things that sets us apart from other companies. And then that sort of helps us along the way if you're going to stick with us throughout your child's journey through high school or middle school or elementary school. It helps us sort of prepare your child for what they need or what's coming next.
Because you always kind of have to think about what's next, right?
Always. One of our mottos with our staff is that we always have to make sure we're looking forward. Yes, we're passing physics, but what's going to be the next thing for this child or this family?
How old are the children that are being taught, and what is the array of subjects that they can learn or be?
So we start with pre-K to college, but I would say our sweet spot is usually elementary to high school, and really sort of range from everything. Kids that come to us that need to learn how to read, they're struggling with math, they need help getting into college, they may need help transitioning from school to school, and especially with COVID, everything has sort of changed since then on what kids need. Maybe before COVID, it was more they needed tutoring to catch up and maybe take a more advanced class, and now it's a different, they have a different need.
And on that same note, is there one subject through the years that always seems, is it math? There's one thing that always seems to be where they need extra help in, just generally speaking?
I don't think so. I think it's sort of just a run-of-the-mill type subject usually, and I think it depends on, sometimes we have kids that come to us that need help periodically, or they come, every single day for tutoring, but I wouldn't say that there's one subject that kids struggle with. I would say it's probably usually all of them.
Well, as far as the CEO of the company, you must know a lot about a lot of things, Jess.
Well, I would say maybe. I taught math, so I know a lot about math.
Right there.
But I wouldn't say I know a lot about every single subject, that's for sure.
But you find the experts, right, who do.
We do. We do.
Yeah.
We have a great, I always say that without my tutoring staff, I wouldn't have a business. They're sort of the brand ambassadors for what we're doing, and they go out and represent Tutorville and me, and and they do a wonderful job of that.
The area that you reach, is it Houston, Texas, or certain areas of Houston? How far does the company go?
So after the pandemic, or actually during the pandemic, and then shortly after that, I decided to turn the pandemic into something good for Tutorville. In fact, my business was not affected. I was so blessed that my business sort of didn't change. I did have to pivot and sort of recreate what we were doing overnight because we had to shift to online learning. But I decided to start franchising Tutorville. And so I hired a firm, and we created a franchising company, opened a franchising company in 2011 so that we could reach more students. And so that's what we're working on now. But as far as my corporate headquarters, we are just in Houston. And then we have franchises for sale throughout the U.S.
Interesting. Everybody we're talking to today, Jenna, is expanding.
Exactly.
Indeed, forward-thinking people looking ahead. That excitement is in the air in this room and in all the companies that we're talking to.
It is. I love it. These are the kind of people I love,
And
Bill.
even you.
I hunt them
what
down.
You're doing, you do hunt. You know, Jess, she knows everybody. How long
She
have you
does.
How long have you guys been
We've been friends almost 20 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, we met.
That's aging us a little.
We met.
I got y'all beat.
I was an intern for Dan Rather at CBS News in New York City right when I finished college. And that's where I met my Jenna Jackson.
Yep. I was an entry-level producer. You know my story, Bill, but
Well, let's remind people your affiliation with Dan Rather. So far, 2 people that have worked alongside with Dan Rather. So we're doing everything we can to get Dan to listen to the show at least once or twice.
I know. I'm gonna have to send him some
His
little
ears are ringing.
snippets.
Yeah,
exactly.
we hope they are.
He's definitely listening.
But there you are with Dan,
So
right?
I, at the time when Jess was an intern, I was an entry-level producer at CBS News in New York. I had just graduated college and at Dan Rather's alma mater. I met him when I was going to college at Sam Houston. He, it turned out, I didn't know at the time, but he had played high school football with my grandpa here in Houston, the Heights area at Reagan High School. I wrote him a letter asking him to donate a book for us, our program there at Sam Houston. And he, I said, P.S., I think you once knew my grandpa. And he wrote me back. I just reread it a couple days ago. And it was like a 10-page handwritten letter on CBS News stationery. I still get a little high-V when I think about it because it was amazing. And just told me all about my grandfather growing up and took me under his wing and was really a mentor at that point. So I was at CBS for 15 years, but Jess and I met in passing when she was there, and then back in Houston re-met and became, such good friends. She's my boy's godmother. And anyway, so yes, I try to surround myself with entrepreneurs.
We're all one big happy family.
That's right.
That's
are.
awesome.
Yes.
It's awesome. So what, you talked a little bit about, your franchising business started during COVID, but what else shifted as far as what parents need to know during COVID? I mean, college admission, testing, standardized testing, I feel like it changes every day. As a mom of 2 sophomores in high school, I'm like, okay, what is going on?
Right. And that's why you need Tutorville.
Well, good thing I have you guys.
Yes. Well, it does change every day, and it changes state by state and university by university, and the testing requirements. And so that's hard to keep up with, and can be a lot. And so that's why it's important to hire someone to help you, and also sort of stay maybe a little bit more involved in your child's education if you weren't maybe as interested before.
Yeah, it's a lot changing. So one other thing that we have in common with the rest of the guests here, I know that you are very big on giving back. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing on that front right now.
Right. So in 2012, we had a little girl that came to us who had been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia and didn't have a school to go to. And so we took her under our wing, and she came to Tutorville, our homeschool, and it got me thinking that how many other kids are out there that have been diagnosed with cancer and their education has been impacted. And so I just received a few weeks ago that we are official 501c3 charity, the Tutorville Foundation. So we're going to raise money for scholarships for kids that have been affected and impacted by a cancer diagnosis, and give that money back to them for anything that they need for education, whether that's college tuition or books or tutoring, whether that's through Tutorville or somewhere else, or just anything that they may need educational support with throughout that journey, cancer journey. And we're really, really excited about that.
That is amazing. So it's really just getting kicked off.
It is. It is. We're having a party in April.
And if someone is listening right now and they have a child, whatever at the age that's in your realm, and they're saying, well, my son needs help in reading or whatever. I looked on your website, and I think there's a consultation phase when you first meet a child and their parents or family. Tell us about that, how you assess or how that begins, and what people, if they want to reach out to you, what they should do if they need help. But give us a little as far as the beginning process.
Sure. So we call that our client journey. And you would just call our office or submit the form on the website. And then someone from my office will call you and we'll set up like a little interview to learn more about your needs and your goals, strengths and weaknesses of your child, the personality of your child, so that we can best, I call it matchmaking, right? Match the best tutor to your child. And then that's really it. It's a very simple process. And then, you can use us as long as you need us for 1 hour, 1,000 hours, whatever you need. We do in-home private tutoring. We can do tutoring through Zoom or Google Meet, FaceTime. And then also we have a headquarters office here in Memorial as well.
As far as reading goes, that's one of the subjects you're helping. And then there's reading, and then there's the comprehension element. Well, how can we improve our comprehension? And I'm asking for myself.
Asking for a friend.
Just because one of the things I have trouble with, and I know I did as a child, I didn't have a tutor, but staying focused.
Right.
And I would think there's still children today that focus. I'm thinking of one of my grandkids right now. Focus is something, I don't know if it's learned, it's taught, but focus comes into play in learning math, but certainly reading and having that comprehension. Give us a tip.
Sort of like when you read the line over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you skim it. I can read a page, and then I'm like, I have no idea what I just read.
I think really the only way to address reading or a reading issue, I guess, if you say, is having professional help, right? Learning how to speed read or take out parts of the section to learn how to diagnose really what you are reading. And then just constantly keeping up with reading every single night or reading every single morning. And then also trying to get away from just reading on your gadget, your iPad or your phone. It's great to read the actual newspaper or hold a book, and also reading out loud, especially for younger children. And young children during COVID have had a really hard time sort of bridging this new gap that we're back into school and sort of trying to play catch up. And so those would be my starting suggestions for fixing maybe a reading difference.
And I think there's more challenge these last few decades because there's so many distractions, electronic distractions versus, as you're saying, going back to an analog style where, hey, read a book. And one thing I will say, too, is those that have read their whole lives, I can think of a few friends, it's something that when you grasp reading and comprehension, it stays with you.
Right.
I mean, I can think of people right now that are like, they're just always reading books and comprehending and these sorts of things.
Right. And we want to encourage that now, and that we do that at Tutorville reading camps, or, if you finish tutoring early, make sure you read a book. And so just constantly trying to have our staff encourage that reading. And it's very important to be a great reader for math as well because of the word problems and, test prep and SAT and ACT. Those problems are word problems. So
we are talking with Jess Rogers. She is the CEO of Tutorville. Jess, let's tell people the website and how they can reach out, the phone number and things.
Sure. It's tutorvilletutors.com, and then you can call our office at 713-857-0367, and any of us would be happy to talk to you. 713-857-0367.
And before we close this segment, what else should we cover, Jenna?
I mean, I think, just the important thing as a mom and somebody who's known Tutorville for a while is like you said, Bill, that foundation. Make sure your child is getting that foundation of learning when they're young, because it just gets harder. My kids are in high school. It's hard now.
So I can imagine the tests and things like that, what they have to know. But your children go to Tutorville.
They've had various tutors over the years with Tutorville, because your needs change. I have twin boys. They're very different. So they always have separate tutors because they always end up connecting with someone different. And one's better at reading and one's better at math. And, kids are different. So I think that's the beauty of what I've seen with Tutorville over the years is they can match you with the right tutor no matter what your need is for your child.
So you've seen a difference.
I definitely have. Yeah. I mean, high school transition was tough for us. It was, much harder, much faster. And
Jess Rogers, CEO of Tutorville. Again, the website, Jess, is
TutorvilleTutors.com.
Thanks for being with us. Thanks for bringing her on, Jenna.
of course.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Thank you.